I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with the cattle market summary for the week ending January the 29th. We are now dealing with the reality of heavier inventories. We'll talk about that in a minute. Your futures market this week on Friday, live cattle, the February contract was down 12 cents to end the week at 135.30, which was up $3.23 for the week. On feeder cattle, we had the January contract go off the board at the end of the week there, and it like it always does, met right up with your CME feeder cattle index at 160.124. So it's gone now. We move on to March for the spot market, and your March contract on Friday was down $2.17 with a lot of pressure from your corn market, which was up over 6 cents, and it hadn't been doing a whole lot really for the last couple months, but that was a pretty big jump on the corn. And the rumors started coming in on this inventory report that was going to be pretty bearish, so it was down hard. Your feeder cattle market, probably the worst it had all week. The March contract ended the week at 157.25, and that's about where it began the week, so it didn't really gain or lose anything right there. But through the week, Monday was kind of a downer, but not too bad. Tuesday was up decent. Wednesday we had big gains on the futures market, right in the face of a sharply lower stock market, which the feeder cattle futures have kind of been following the stock market, which has not been very good so far this year. But on Wednesday it was up 270 on your feeder cattle, right in the face of big losses on the stock market. Thursday didn't do a whole lot, and then Friday, of course, down big on feeder cattle, but not too much on live cattle. But your inventory report come out at 2 o'clock on Friday, and it showed definite expansion and herd rebuilding there. Total cattle and calves ended up at 92 million, which was up 3% over last year, which is pretty bearish because the expectations were to be up just 2%. And then your beef, cows, and heifers were up 4%, and expectations were for a 3% gain there, so that's kind of bearish too. We're rebuilding this herd a lot quicker than people even thought we would, and they thought we would pretty fast. Your 2015 calf crop was 2% bigger than 2014, so we've kept a lot of heifers back, even though we'd really whittled the herd down, culling those cows through the droughts and everything that's happened over the last 10 or 12 years. We've done a lot to rebuild that. We're going to have a nice young herd for several years now and get back into kind of a regular cycle. Box beef cutout values have been down pretty significantly the last couple of weeks. $15 loss in the last 2 weeks after about a $50 run up there through the holidays. But we knew that box beef would level out this time of year, and we're probably about to find some support there at some lower levels there. Your fat cattle, they did trade some on Friday, mostly in the northern plains on a dress basis from 210 to 212, which was $2 to $4 higher. Didn't really have an established market as of yet. Late Friday, it's going to be higher too, but probably didn't trade a whole lot, and maybe enough in Kansas to establish a live price. But at the end of the week, as far as reportings come in, did not have a live price established there. But through the week, your cash feeder cattle, Monday started out like gangbusters because we saw a lot of firmness come back into the market late last week. The prior week on Thursday and Friday, we saw some pretty good gains come in, and then saw some support on the board. So we knew that our early week markets and our big volume markets on Monday were going to be big. They all were a bunch higher, 5 to 10, 10 to 20 on calves, like in Joplin and Oklahoma City, places like that. And we saw that right up through Wednesday till we got back up to the point where we saw the gains the prior week late in the week. So by the end of the week, probably if you balance everything out, on feeder cattle we were firm to $5 higher, and calf prices $5 to $10 higher. But we saw some good gains, saw some heavy receipts in a lot of your big good sale barns up in the northern plains and in the southern plains. But really good sale barn week and saw some big price gains. We saw your index prices gain a lot of ground there. Some particular markets there late in the week on Friday in Lexington, Nebraska, about 4:20 on Friday afternoon. We saw a load of steers weighed 718 bring 172. Now that's about as good as we saw. We saw a few markets like St. Joe, Missouri and some other ones that had higher cattle in the low sevens there. But you know, on Thursday and Friday, on top of catching up with the gains that we'd seen from the previous week, those buyers did kind of rein in that market a little bit. And actually some of your big markets like Pratt, Kansas were unevenly steady to a little bit weaker on yearlings, big heavy feeders and big calves there late in the week. Also in Lexington, Nebraska on Friday, about 2:40 in the afternoon, had a big load of 646-pound calves bring 184.50. Did get some sad news here over the weekend. On Saturday afternoon, we lost one of our really big historical old stockyards. The Bluegrass Stockyards in Lexington, Kentucky was destroyed in a fire that started just right after lunch there on Saturday afternoon, and pretty much a total loss. As reported there late in the weekend, did not have any loss of human life, and they didn't think they had too many cattle on hand. It was the best day of the week for them to have a fire because the big sales started early in the week on Monday, and a lot of those cattle would come in on Sunday, but they hadn't had too many cattle in as of when the fire started. But hate to see those old historic stockyards die off. We don't have that many of them left. But check out DV Auction. We got a ton of bull sales coming up. The next 2 weeks we got literally 400 or 500 big bull sales coming up on DV Auction. You can get about anything you need right on there. And from a home office here in Maysville, Missouri, we'll talk to you on Wednesday.